Κρατώντας την τρίτη ετήσια έκθεση της Κομισιόν για το κράτος δικαίου στα 27 κράτη-μέλη, ο Επίτροπος Δικαιοσύνης έφτασε στην Αθήνα σε μια διήμερη επίσκεψη γεμάτη συναντήσεις με την κυβέρνηση, την αξιωματική αντιπολίτευση, αλλά και τους επικεφαλής Ανεξάρτητων Αρχών και ανώτατους δικαστικούς. Στην έκθεση περιέχονται μια σειρά από μέτρα που αποσκοπούν στη βελτίωση της αποτελεσματικότητας και της ποιότητας του ελληνικού συστήματος δικαιοσύνης. Ο Ντιντιέ Ρέιντερς απάντησε αποκλειστικά στην ΕΡΤ αναφορικά με την υπόθεση των υποκλοπών και τις έρευνες που βρίσκονται σε εξέλιξη.
Very important now to know where are the investigations in the hands of the prosecutor office, because that's the most important part. So to know where we are. But in a broader sense, I want to say that my visit confirmed two main elements. Maybe the first one is the importance to invest in the independence, the quality, but also the efficiency of the justice system. So to have a better independence of the justice system, but to invest also in digital tools, in training, and to reduce the duration of the different procedures, because it's very long in Greece.
Ερωτηθείς για το αν έμεινε ικανοποιημένος από τις απαντήσεις που έλαβε, σημείωσε πως αυτό που έχει σημασία είναι το επίπεδο της δέσμευσης για αλλαγές.
The goal is not to be happy, the goal is to see if there are very clear commitments. So I know that you will have an electoral campaign in the next weeks, maybe. So it's very important with the government, but also with the opposition. I've seen both, that we have very clear commitment about the implementation of the recommendation of all rule of law report.
Πριν από λίγο καιρό είχατε εκφράσει τις ανησυχίες της Κομισιόν για τη διαφάνεια στο δικαστικό σύστημα στην Ελλάδα.
First of all, we have put forward a main recommendation. It's to have an involvement of the judiciary itself in the appointment of the highest function. So the president and the vice president of the highest court, the Council of State, but also the Supreme Court in Greece. We want to be sure that there is not just a political decision, but there is an involvement of the judiciary. So there is a consultation of the judiciary to do that. It will be needed to change the constitution. But before the change in the constitution, it's also possible to do that in practice. So I've discussed that with the president and the vice president of the parliament, how it's possible to have a better involvement of the judiciary, so the judges themselves, in the appointment in the highest function. It's not enough to say that we want to have independent judges. We want also to have qualified judges, so the training is very important. And we want to have a justice that is efficient. Efficient, that will say, not a too long period of time before to have a decision. And you know, in Greece, it's a huge problem. It's too long before to have a decision in justice for civil, commercial or criminal cases. And so on that, the digitalization of the justice system is very, very important.
Αναφορικά με το Qatar-Gate, πρόκειται απλά για ένα πρωτοφανές σκάνδαλο ή συνιστά και μια προειδοποίηση για την Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση, για την Ευρώπη γενικότερα?
It's a very bad situation that we have, because it's a problem for all the institutions to see such a kind of behavior. But at the same moment, I have said from the beginning as Commissioner for Justice, it's a real proof that it's possible to have an independent justice system. Because if you have some information about such a kind of scandal, it's due to the fact that it was possible for some intelligence services, maybe for some prosecutors, to organize real investigations and to have an access to all the possible documents and places, also in the European Parliament. So I have a mixed feeling about the situation. Of course, it's very bad to see such a kind of behavior of some individuals, but it's also very important to prove that if we have an independent justice system, it's possible to fight against corruption or to fight against other kind of criminality.
Η έκθεση της Κομισιόν έρχεται λίγο μετά τη ρωσική εισβολή στην Ουκρανία, αναδεικνύοντας τη σημασία της στήρησης των δημοκρατικών αξιών και των ανθρωπίνων δικαιωμάτων. Η Κομισιόν στηρίζει τις έρευνες του Διεθνούς Ποινικού Δικαστηρίου για ρωσικά εγκλήματα πολέμου.
We are working very hard with the Prosecutor General of Ukraine, and so we have given support to the Prosecutor General of Ukraine with expertise, with experts on the ground, with security equipment, with telecommunication equipment. And they are going forward in Ukraine with some trials. There are already more than 25 condemnations and convictions for war crimes. And with the ICC, the International Criminal Court, you have seen maybe they've just started now two processes against different Russian people. We are on track, and so we'll see more and more prosecutions and more conviction, not only for the classical war crimes, but also for many violence against women and children, and maybe about deportation of children to Russia. But then we work also on the crime of aggression, the specific crime, the aggression of Russia against Ukraine. And for that we have started with an international center for the prosecution of the crime of aggression.
Η Κομισιόν έχει συγκροτήσει ένα σώμα από εισαγγελείς από διάφορα κράτη-μέλη, από την Ουκρανία και τη Χάγη, προκειμένου να συγκεντρώσουν αποδεικτικά στοιχεία για να στοιχειοθετήσουν τα εγκλήματα πολέμου και να συγκροτήσουν την απαραίτητη βάση δεδομένων.